Today, I try my hands on my first inlay project as a birthday present for my grandma. Enjoy! Last autumn, I wanted to finally try out inlaying with my CNC, and the 18th birthday of my granny was the perfect opportunity for that. The present I had in mind was a sign that said Happy Birthday Roswitha and had her age on it, including her year of birth and birthday. The design was done in Fusion 360 as usual, and the sign was supposed to represent a disc with ribbons attached to it. Initially, I planned to inlay the number 80 and all the bigger letters, but you'll see later how that turned out. At my old workshop, aka the shed, I then cut a piece of acacia wood to size that I could fit into my CNC. The sign had pretty big measurements, so I had to place it quite accurately into my shape poco, such that it was still in the range of its axis. But this made the work holding rather hard, and then the first fail of the project happened. I walked away from my shed for literally just 1 second and the Carbide 3D machine already betrayed my trust. That one gave me a shock, honestly. I wasn't prepared for that to happen. Well, back to square one once again. Don't want to talk about that anymore. This never happened, okay? Cutting acacia wood, screwing the board down this time, and cutting with the CNC. So this is what it currently looks like, and it turned out rather okay apart from a few things that just suck, but I need to fix those. I think I can. If you see this part right here, for example, a bit of wood broke off at this part. Also, quite a bunch of wood broke out here. I don't know if I should just flatten the top again and just engrave everything again, or maybe I'm going to go the route and just use my router table and try to fix these sides up using a round over bit or the like. Whatever it is, I'm going to come up with a solution in some way, but up until now it looks rather okay. Let's try to get it out of the tabs and then let's see what we can do next. Next up, I went over to my router table and gave both sides a round over. I mean, it does look pretty good with the round over bit. Really good. But the thing still is that this right here is still broken. So yeah, I think I'm going to basically bring it all down by 2 or 3 millimeters. This is plenty thick, so this should work out, no problems asked. And then I'm going to engrave it once again, in the hopes that I'm going to hit the right 0 and homing position once again. In actuality, that would have been too much of a hassle, and quite honestly, I would have messed up the centering. Even if it was just off by a millimeter, that would have bugged me later. In order for me to prevent that from happening, I gave everything a third shot. Also, I figured that inlaying all the letters would be way too complicated for my current skill level, so I also changed the depth of cut of these to a simple engraving. And once that was done, I used my smallest chisel to clean the bottom of all the engraved numbers and letters. Honestly, I'm pretty satisfied with the result. What I didn't notice is that, yeah, I think I had a branch going through the whole part right here and it broke out. I need to glue this part down. This ain't a problem, but I need to fill this part up. Or maybe I'm just going to take like some kind of flower and put it over there just to basically hide it. But I can still glue this part up. This is the one that got lost during routing. But other than that, I'm pretty satisfied with how chiseling turned out. I can't complain about that. Pretty good result, to be honest. Now you see on the 4, for example, or on the A, I'm missing the little dots right here in the middle. Luckily, I still have the other sign lying around that didn't turn out too well. And I can basically just chisel off the part of the A and the 4 and glue it on here. This is what I'm going to do next.
First things first, I put a branch back in its place with some good old wood glue. And then I carved out the big old letters from beech wood.
Ooh, that one fits really well. Really snugly and nice. And let's see if the 8 finally fits. Yes, with a bit of force it's definitely going to fit. Okay, so for the downwards motion I actually added a bit of a, you can call it chamfer, but I used my chisel to basically get a bit of a gradient here, such that it slides down nicer. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use glue and a bit of sawdust from the beech wood, and then I'm going to fill all the holes which are still there, and yeah, all the empty spots, and I hope it's going to look good after that. See these empty spots? This is where I took additional stock just to make it fit more nicely, and I'm going to fill these up with glue and a bit of sawdust, and this should basically fix all the missing lines up. I think that's going to work. They seem to be both on the same height, so that should work. That should be the limit, I think. Very nice, I got it to work. Very satisfied with that. That looks good.
And next came a pretty tedious part. After letting the wood filler cure for a bit, I then used my Japanese block planes to flatten the 2 letters. That one took quite a while, but I got it done. I was pretty proud of myself. Next came sanding from an 80 grit all the way up to a 320 grit. Also, just as mentioned before, I took care of the 2 pieces that broke off.
This is where we are at right now, and it looks pretty good, to be honest. And I fixed up these parts, and honestly, once I get everything sanded and cut and chiseled, no one's going to be able to tell that I had to fix something, especially not my 80-year-old grandma. Beautiful. These fixes turned out really nicely. I mean, here you can tell because the color is a bit differently, but here you really can tell. You seriously can tell. This turned out so well. I'm so glad I did that.
And last but not least, after running over in my router table again, I did some hand and also last bit of random orbiter sanding.
Now, I was trying around with different coatings and I came up with 2, and I just want to try out one of these. So on the one hand we got only shellac, on the other hand we got linseed oil as the first layer of coating, and over it a few coatings of shellac. I think I'm going to go with this version because I never tried a combination of oil and shellac before. Let's dive right in.
And we are done with the happy birthday sign, and I think it turned out pretty fine. I really like how the beech inlay just stands out from all the other wood, like the texture of the beech wood in contrast with the acacia. What I also find pretty unique is that with the glued up wood that I bought, we are going to get on the one hand the lighter sapwood standing out here, and then we got the darker hardwood here, which makes for a pretty cool contrast, and I really dig that. And once again, I don't really have a workshop or something. You might have noticed that I don't really have a huge space at hand, but I still managed to create something like this, just with minimum requirements or just minimum things I could use and without a work table or the like. And just as so often with my videos, you don't need a big workshop to basically create things like these beautiful looking things. A workshop would be cool. I would love to have a bigger workshop, but this isn't something that I have right now. And I think it's like that for many people, that if you watch the bigger YouTubers with their big workshops, it can seem kind of intriguing, and you might get the impression that you need a big workshop with a nice work table to get things done. But you don't need this actually. So for some projects you definitely need a big workspace and the like. But for smaller projects like this, minimum requirements are actually totally enough for everything to work out. So don't get intrigued by those big YouTubers and just get to crafting something. Really doesn't matter which space you have available, just do something and try your best. And then everything is going to work out eventually. This was just a little message of the day. And if you want to see more content like this, if you're interested in more DIY projects as well as woodworking in general, then definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel. It would really support the channel a lot. And after this video has been posted, these signs are also going to be available for sale over on stemmerch.eu. Just like my other projects like those headphone stands and the like, handcrafted products. And the best thing is, these are going to be customizable. So you can customize every part of it however you wish, and I'm going to create it for you. And you can even tell me which wood types you would like to have if you are not fond of, for example, this Acacia wood, because you don't like the contrast that you see here. So yeah, definitely make sure to check out stemmerch.eu to support the channel a bit more if you're especially generous today. And other than that, I thank you guys for watching. And up until the next video, I wish you guys a flammable day. Please stay safe. Ciao.